Yeah, we'll just press restart and just record a whole new episode. Done.
Welcome to Marketing. Grab some coffee and let's talk about what's working in marketing, who these strategies are designed for, and how to be customer-centric while we do it. Enjoy this special behind-the-scenes feature.
Who would you call out as like musical styles that people can like, if they like this artist, they'll hear it in this, besides the ones that you said, like,
yeah, I mean, I think those are some of the core ones, like Eminem, J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick Lamar would be another one, Childish Gambino, The Roots. Like, those are some of the similarities that I feel this contains and what people have said it reminds them of, or they feel like, vibe off of. I think an interesting, I haven't done this yet, but an interesting exercise is to create the album as a playlist and see what Spotify recommends I should add to the playlist.
Yeah.
That's how we'll get the, who else do you listen to that would be a good, be a good comp for this?
Yeah. I mean, would you say that it has like a regional, like does it fall in line with the regional Chicago style, like, of artists, or is it more just like, I guess that's...
I don't know. I don't think it's like a Chicago style necessarily. Because my influences, I mean, sure, I have Chicago artist influences, but my influences are much broader than that. And I mean, I will say this album has literally been played by people around the world.
Yeah.
And they are all finding, they're finding how it resonates with them and giving good feedback. So I think it does have, like, if you like hip hop, if you like good lyricism, and if you like good beats, you're going to like this. If you like mumble rap, you're probably not going to like this. I personally have never really understood mumble rap, and it doesn't vibe with me. Yeah. I know it's for some people, but it's not for me. So if you're into like mumble rap, trap, drill, that kind of those subgenres of hip hop where it's just like hard beat and it's like da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na.
But see, I almost feel like mumble rap is almost like an Atlanta thing. I'm not an expert. Please don't get mad at me in the comment section. It's just
don't at her.
Yeah, don't at me. Or say it nicely. Be like, dude, you're old. You haven't listened to music like enough. Go to a concert, Leanne. But I'm on the West Coast, so I'm in LA right now. So like my experience, and I grew up in the Bay Area, so I grew up listening to Bay Area music and
Mac Dre in the Bay.
And I wore like a 93 Till shirt to school pickup, and one of the moms like, "What's that mean?" I'm like, "That's a Bay Area thing. We're just gonna let it go." So. But this is, like, I love all types of music. Like, you'll find me, like, listening to everything. So I don't want to, seem, like, too particular. So there's a lot of things that are coming up, and there's a lot that we could talk about. I just want to ask you, like, one closing question. And then we'll talk about the stuff, the events, and the releases you have coming out. What is the question someone should ask you, but they don't? Maybe they ask you X, Y, and Z, and they really need to start at like ABC. Maybe they just, you just have this thing that you want people to know about you, and for some reason you never get a chance to talk about it. What would be a question that someone should ask you about?
Now that itself is a good question. I think asking about my creative process might be a good question to ask, particularly around concepting these songs and how it all came together.
Yeah, we'll just press restart and just record a whole new episode. Done. Obviously, I'm kidding, but no, that is a really important question, and I think it's cool because everyone has such like unique creative processes, and it's really cool to see like the places where people pull things from to make connections. So that's also why I was asking about like, influences or what's it sound like and things like that, because
I mean, I can give the quick synopsis answer.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I didn't realize this needed clarification, but apparently it does based on a couple of people who have asked. 0% of this album was written by AI or used with an AI voice or music made by AI. All of the lyrics, 100% of the lyrics were written by me without any help from AI or any generative AI, scripts or anything like that, or any prompts that I put into GPT. And the music, the beats were made by an actual human producer, not using AI. So just throw that out there. But as for the creative process, the first song we recorded on the album is the 7th song on the album out of 8 total tracks. And we built the entire album around that being like the climax song of the album. So we didn't start at the start. We started with the crescendo and built around that. And that happened because that was just the first thing I felt. And I was like, I have a song and I want to say these things. And this is the beat I want for it. And let's go. Let's get this thing done first. And once we did that, then I started to be like, okay, we can take it here. We can take it here. We can take it here. Within each individual song as well, my creative process on this album is a lot different than my previous work that I've done in the past, which is I used to not record until I had an entire song written or mostly written. And what would happen is my time spent recording would be much less frequent because it can take a while to write a full song. Especially if it's not the only thing you're doing, is sitting down to write a song. And also, even if it is, it's not a given that the right lyrics are going to hit you in that moment either. So what was different this time around was I would think of like 4 or 6 bars and I'd jot those down. And then as soon as I had free time, I would go into the booth and I would spit those lines. And then that would help me think of the next 4 to 6 bars or the next 4 to 6 after that until, 4 to 6 lines at a time, I'm compiling a verse. And then once I had that entire verse finished, I'd go back and re-record the whole thing in full. And so this kind of piecing together the song as I was going, oddly enough, not only made the songs better than I think otherwise, because I was, I think, more in flow at any given moment when writing the lyrics, but also, oddly enough, I think it created better stories that are told on each song as well. And a lot of that is because I wasn't, when I would sit down and try and write an entire song, I'd be so worried about not ever like repeating a word that was used previously or a cadence that was used previously. And then the song would kind of just start strong, but then petter out as you keep listening. This, I think, allows every verse and every portion of every verse to be really strong throughout of every song, start to finish, because I kind of released the creative shackles or broke free from the shackles and allowed like live creativity to take place. And through that, the output was overall stronger.
Yeah. And I mean, because it's my job, I'm going to like tie all of these similarities to just the general creative process and like mindsets and things that we need to do. Right. So when you start at the crescendo, you start at the point. Like, what is the point of this? And that's a lot of what K-Pasta almost feels like, right? Because it's like, what is the point? And when you start at that high point and then you fill in the details, it is more powerful, like you're saying. And I love that the format of like music and the way that songs work and songwriting is like really like connects to that. The other thing is like letting go of these like limits that we place on ourselves because we thought that was the way we had to do things. And there is no way that we have to do things. There's just ways we think we have to do things. Apart from following laws, please follow laws. Please do that. But like, no one is telling you, unless they're micromanaging you, and then why? No one is like, oh, well, you can only be creative in this like playbook way. And it's like, well, that's not creative anymore. Like, just like be organic. And so, you know, there's an ongoing meme and joke that like marketers have their best ideas in the shower or like on a walk. And it's like, that's because we're not like telling ourselves you have to be creative right this second. And it matters. Like, it's not contrived.
So many of my lyrics come when I'm on a long drive. I open the voice memo app on my phone and I just talk out loud the rhymes that come to mind during that. And a lot of what you hear on the album the lyrics started with me in the car thinking through something out loud. And then afterwards, you know, when I parked or when I got home, then writing it down and tinkering from there.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of long drives. I think that they're emotionally cleansing because you finally are stuck in one place where you can like feel your feelings and like work through stuff and make progress. And back when I was in the fitness space is that, you know, there's this concept that your body needs forward momentum physically, and that your mental status and your physical status are so intertwined that when you're making physical progress, your mind can also make mental progress. And that's why like going for a walk or going for a drive or just like going helps your brain to go. You know, notwithstanding all the times when you're laying in bed and it's 3 a.m. and your mind is going and you don't want to.
No, but like working out's a great outlet.
Yoga,
those kinds of things are all great. Like some of my best ideas for pitching come when I'm practicing yoga.
Well, because the blood flow to your brain is significant. And when you increase your circulation, you're delivering more nutrients and cleaning out more junk, literally. And so you're feeding your brain the opportunity to do those things. Not that driving long distances gives yourself the same physiological things, but just the sensory experience from your eyes and the rest of your body like tells you that that's what your brain can expect. So there's a pro tip is that if you need to be creative, don't sit in your desk. Just don't do it. It won't work. Come back to your desk.
Ordering standing desk now.
Yeah. Walking pad done.
Still Prime Day. Get a deal on it.
Well, it won't be when this airs, but still there. Amazon will always take your order. All right. So what's on the horizon? You know, tell me about like the releases, the events, like what are some things that people should look out for? And then how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah. Well, the album came out September 14th. So it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, really any streaming platform, YouTube Music. Just look up RajNation, all one word, or Goat to Market, and it'll pop up. We celebrated the release of the album with an album release party and concert the last week of September. And we built that. Along with that, we built an entire week of events here in Chicago called Hype Week. We did 9 events across 5 days. It was awesome. We had everything from educational events to entertainment events like the concert to networking and athletic events too. So it was just a really cool way to bring the tech and the startup community together in very different and unique ways throughout the week. And of course, the concert itself was just, you know, the word I keep using it was surreal. That's how cool it was to pack a room and have people. You know, the album came out a couple of weeks before the concert and people already knew the lyrics. And so to have a room of people like singing your songs when you're not even prompting them was really freaking cool. So there's enough momentum to say, be on the lookout for Hype Week 2024 at some point, probably second half of next year. But in the meantime, you know, obviously check out the album, but otherwise we do monthly pitch workshops, usually at least once a month. And we've got 2 happening in October. So just check out startuphypeman.com. And you'll know when the next one's coming out. especially if you subscribe to our newsletter. And also at our newsletter, every other week, we share upcoming pitch competitions or grant opportunities that might be valuable to you. And then when you subscribe, you also get a video sent to you that takes that kind of in a truncated fashion, breaks down the K-pasta formula and gives you an example as well. So you can get started on creating your own.
Sweet. All right.
And I should clarify, startuphypeman.com is the website.
Yeah. Could you just spell it out for us? Like,
yeah. Startup, STARTUP. Yeah, I spelled that right. Hype man, HYPEMAN. Startup Hype Man. That was a trick question. Okay, can he spell? Startuphypeman.com.
Who knew it would include a spelling bee? And now it's my turn. So if you have any questions for me, I'm always available on LinkedIn, or you can email me at info@markigi.com, info@markigy.com.
I was hoping you meant like I get to ask you a question now.
You know what? Go for it. Like let's quick. I'll answer it.
All right. Leanne.
Yes.
What's the worst guest experience you've had as host of this show?
Well, I am not going to throw anyone under the bus, but I can tell you that I am a very assertive person with this podcast. And so any negative experiences I have had that have been very negative, I just don't air the episode. Or if they're just meh. I care a lot about this. This is my creative outlet, and I'm really here to like learn and make friends. And if I don't think we're going to learn or make friends, then we're just not going to do it. We're busy.
Do you tell them that you're not airing it?
It usually doesn't get that far. In my process, like I'll correspond with someone, and then I'll do like we did. I'll do like a like meet and greet, and there's a number of reasons why the meet and greet does not proceed to the next step. And they aren't all that you're a jerk. Sometimes it's just not a good fit for whatever reason. And so I don't want people to be like, well, we met and you declined me being a guest, so you must think, she must be talking about me. Not true. But, there has been unnamed people where I was just like, you're rude afterwards. And it just, I was like, not gonna do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I still handle it diplomatically. I don't call people names or lash out. But I do decline moving forward in the process. But I did build that measure into the process specifically so there wouldn't be awkwardly airing episodes where people are like, "What is this?" So that's my answer.
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
So if you have been my guest and there's a published episode, it means we really are friends. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And anyone, if you have questions, you know where to find us. Please reach out. Please ask us. Clearly we're two people that love to talk. He likes to sing and rap, maybe more rap than sing, but very talented nonetheless. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.